Okay, they say in politics you should never let a crisis go to waste, right? Well, in investing, likewise, we never want to let a crisis go past us without trying to draw as many learnings as we can from it. And this collapse of FTX with the whole sort of what's going on around it, there's going to be a lot of things to learn. And today I want to talk about basically a type of grift that happens in the media. And the whole point of this video is to just help you increase your cynicism about financial media, maybe about media in general. And also this will also increase your sophistication of using that media such that you can protect your family's property, your family's assets, your family's investments, right? So it's really about increasing our sophistication and understanding certain truths about the motivations of media, basically, and specifically with investments. So the backdrop here is I want to share, basically there's a really well-known short seller named Mark Cohodes, and he has been just renowned guy for uncovering frauds and uncovering zeros. So the story with him is that he handed to Bloomberg the entire FTX story, like all of the stuff that was going on, at least enough to really write a major story about it. And the team at Bloomberg that got contacted by him basically said they were too busy and didn't pick up the story. And this is something, he gave it to him a couple of months ago. And okay, let's just unpack this a little bit, because first of all, a reporter should never be too early for what would be a tremendous scoop, right? Secondly, there's this question of who pays the media's bills, right? And Bloomberg's a little unusual because they are thought of as very a well-regarded financial media outlet, and they're also subscription-based, right? So they have advertising as part of their revenue base too, but they're a subscription-based media company, so they should be the least conflicted of other media, which is in general almost totally advertising supported. So if you think about, like, if there's some scandal about some company, CNBC, which is totally advertising supported, right? CNBC is not going to be leading the charge with some sort of expose on that. And certainly not if there's a possibility that such and such company might advertise on them or already is advertising with them, right? So this gets to the inherent conflict of interest of media outlets. They are going to protect their advertisers first before they protect you as a citizen who really thinks you could be informed by this media, right? They will put you as a distant second to the interest of their advertiser clients. So this is just a central problem. And, obviously it's obvious to think about it in financial media, but we also see it in pharmaceutical media, in other subsectors of the economy. So this is just a very important concept. And if you go back to my video number 106, this is just a really good example of a principal agent problem where the media doesn't necessarily have your interests at heart, and we all kind of know this intuitively, but the FTX example of a media outlet that should have been the least conflicted and the sort of has the least of this economic problem of advertising coming from the companies they might do an expose on, they still ditched the story. They buried the story. And so this gets to a secondary problem, which is it's not just advertising. The other question is also access. And this is also where the media shows up conflicted when it comes to political coverage too. And even really, you can even see it in like professional sports, right? You want to maintain access to the subject that you cover, right? And that might be a government official, it might be the president, it might be some senator, it might be a foreign head of state, or it could be LeBron James, right? It could be an athlete. And if you want to maintain access to that athlete, you are going to give a shading or a type of coverage that will help you maintain that access. And so here we have another sort of genre of reasons why the media won't tell you the real truth about what's really going on when there's a situation like FTX. So at the end of the day, I just want us to stay cynical, my friends. Stay cynical about the media. Recognize when an investment idea comes to you from the media, it should be treated with suspicion. You should always assume that the media is motivated by reasons that are contrary to your interests. And if you start with that with a starting point, you will be better able to protect your family's capital. Okay, so just remember, FTX is a great example of a couple different kinds of bias in the media and a couple different large reasons why they didn't come to you with this story. And then finally, I guess I want to make a point about what we call it post-dicting, basically, right? There's predicting and then there's post-dicting. Post-dicting is after something happens, acting like it's so terrible and or even worse that you predicted it all along, right? So now that everybody knows that FTX is a scam, it was like totally dirty company, right? All the media coverage is universally negative. But somehow like that just quickly flipped, right? It became sort of embarrassing to not point fingers at FTX, but before nobody was saying these things, right? And so once it becomes obvious that it's a scam and everyone is wagging their fingers and shaking their jowls at this company. But if you go back a month, nobody was doing that, right? And so there's this pile-on effect that happens, and it's almost like the media is sort of compensating, and I mean compensation in the Freudian sense, to make up for the fact that they were sort of willfully blind to these possible problems before and didn't fully evaluate them or explore them. Now they're piling on with extra sort of outrage and jowl shaking to kind of burnish their reputation so that you as a media consumer don't notice that they whiffed and dropped the ball all along. All right, so that's just the final comment about that. So stay cynical, my friends. All right, thanks for watching.